We have been following SBI for a very long time, considering the fact that they were one of the early investors into Ripple that we know of. And, SBI is not some small time name. In fact, they are one of the largest financial institutional players in Japan. And today, we know that they are even deeper involved into the Ripple pool than ever before. And they are also a massive supporter of XRP, of course. Now, when we think about SBI, it's not just SBI. We know that SBI has a ton of subsidiaries tied back to them, but also we know that back in 2022, they essentially created an alliance with multiple banks, including even SMFG. And this goes back, a while ago, actually. This started back in 2019, where they planned to announce that it had plans to create a fourth Japanese mega bank by consolidating several Japanese regional banks up to 10 into the group and connecting them to SBI's technological pool. So, like I said, it's not just SBI. There's so many big banks tied back to SBI, which is basically just a network of banks in Japan. And we know that they are a big supporter of Ripple. In fact, SBI Ripple Asia is actually a thing. If you go over to Ripple's website, you could read more about this, but if we look at the mission here, by combining the knowledge and technology of the SBI Group and Ripple, we aim to realize the internet of value in Japan and Asia. So again, we just talked about how big SBI is. They're working closely with Ripple to realize the value of the internet of value itself, which is basically the new financial system in Japan and Asia. And yes, they are using XRP. Now, if we scroll down, we also have the company profile itself, and then we also have the solutions and technology. So SBI Ripple Asia provides international remittance solutions to various financial institutions and remittances companies through the sale of RippleNet software services. For more information on RippleNet, please click here. And then we also just have the inquiries down here and a little bit of a breakdown as well. Now, they do say that they don't handle any crypto assets XRP. Therefore, we are unable to respond to inquiries made to our phone number or email address. For inquiries regarding crypto asset XRP trading, please contact the exchange that handles crypto assets directly. But then we also have the benefits of RippleNet, the value of RippleNet provides as well, which of course on-demand liquidity is being tapped in here, which includes XRP, and also all focused around cross-border payments. Now we have down here that XRP is that bridge currency that they're using within Ripple's on-demand liquidity service. Now this has been kind of replaced with Ripple payments. Again, the last update that we got regarding this was back in 2021. Is it still in place today? Yes, I do believe that this partnership is still a big deal, considering the fact that when you go over here to SBI Holdings website, we could read all about SBI Ripple Asia and how they utilize DLT tapped with Ripple to provide RippleNet services to financial institutions and remittances business in Japan. So again, this is a very big deal. And by the way, it's not just Japan, it's South Korea and parts of Southeast Asia as well. And again, this is all based around blockchain and DLT, which means XRP is tapped in fully here. Now, when we look at this, the last update from SBI was back in September. And this was SBI Ripple Asia signs memorandum of understanding to build a new payment platform utilizing unique tokens. And if we actually read about this, we have it over here. Now, we don't know what those unique tokens are. In my opinion, I do believe that this is going to include stablecoins, but we know that this is all based around the XRP ledger. They literally tell you guys that this is using the XRP ledger to issue highly reliable proprietary tokens and build a system that allows customers of partner companies and organizations to pay for accommodation, dining, shopping, services, and more. And this is all built using the XRP ledger. Pretty significant, especially coming from SBI directly. This is literally on their website. You could read more about this. Now, the reason why I believe that this is going to include RLUSD is because we already know that Ripple and SBI plan to distribute RLUSD, which we'll get to here in a moment. But when we go back to SBI VC Trade, which is also another piece of the SBI puzzle, we have creating global standards for digital asset exchange. Crypto asset can, they're basically meaning cryptocurrencies, can be used as payment for goods and services through the internet and can be exchanged between legal currencies such as JPY, Japanese yen, and the US dollar due to its beneficial structure of not requiring a particular issuer or is usable anywhere through the internet. crypto assets and the underlying technology has started to be expansively used on other purposes. SBI VC Trade will provide a full lineup of crypto asset services by utilizing the comprehensive power of the Japan's largest comprehensive internet financial group. And again, SBI is that massive name in Japan that is trying to push forward crypto asset services and technology in order for Japan to really lead in the digital race. Now, one of those key things is, of course, tapping into stablecoin initiatives because we know how big stablecoins are. And right around the same exact time that we got that big update regarding this new payment platform utilizing unique tokens, just pretty much 28 days prior, we got a big update regarding that Ripple and SBI plan to distribute ROUSD in Japan. Now, this is coming from Yoshitaka Kitao, who is the founder of SBI, or at least the acting CEO of SBI. And if we're reading beyond this, we know that this commitment is going to start by March 31st of this year, because they said in the first quarter of 2026. So that's when this should start to become available. And then on top of this, we do have over here that we are confident that this partnership will not only drive stablecoin utility in Japan, but also set a new benchmark for the entire market. So definitely excited about this. We're still waiting on this to get announced, but I do think that this is definitely a big one to watch for. Now, I want to bring up all of this because we have over here, and big shout out to Crypto Airy for this, we have XRP ecosystem scoop, Finance Minister Katayama-san voicing her support of SBI Group, blockchain settlement, and stablecoin initiatives could be used to improve payments, potentially putting Japan at the forefront of the international financial competition. XRP and ROUSD for the win. And this goes back to February 14th. And just like I went over here, right, we know that SBI is extremely focused on both the XRP ledger and even ROUSD, just going over all of these major documents. So this video clip definitely kind of builds on top of all of that confirmation. Check this out.
SBI さんの方でもそういう同じような取り組みを別途またご自身のシステムではやろうとされているので、それはそれで我々応援をしておりますので、ご一緒にやれるかどうかはもう各社さんの問題であって、ブロックチェーンという仕組みを使ったり、ステーブルコインという仕組みを使うことによってですね。
So obviously you can't really understand it if you don't speak Japanese, but we know that Crypto Airy does, and she pretty much, translated this. And we have down here for the written recap of the finance minister's press release above. And yes, you could read this from Bit Times. We have it over here. This is fully translated in English as well. The main key points of this article are, of course, the fact that, they are announcing support for the demonstration project for advanced security settlement on February 13th, improve securities trading processes with blockchain and stablecoins, transfer of rights for government bonds, corporate bonds, investment trusts, and stocks. They can all be processed in real time. The Financial Services Agency provides support from an institutional perspective within the framework of the Payment Advancement Project, potential turning point for the strengthening the competitiveness of the Tokyo market, and also reforming securities market infrastructure. So again, this is definitely a big confirmation that Japan is moving forward on utilizing, blockchain settlement and stablecoin initiatives. And who's right there at the forefront of this? Of course, Ripple with ROUSD and XRP. Now, on top of that, we do have over here, keep your eyes on Japan. This is from RizXRP. This is that press conference release, and this is the quote that we're pretty much looking at from that video, where SBI is also pursuing similar initiatives within its own system, and we support that as well. Whether they collaborate or proceed independently is up to the companies themselves. What is important is that by using mechanisms such as blockchain and stablecoin settlement can become more advanced and faster. If this is implemented in the Tokyo market, then amid global competition at the technological frontier, Japan will be able to stand at the forefront while no one has yet fully realized this system. I believe reaching the cutting edge itself is groundbreaking. So yeah, listen, XRP could become that weapon for Japan. Just like I said, the same about the US. Like if the US really is serious about winning this race with crypto, then they would essentially tap into Ripple and XRP. And, Japan is already there. They're really looking at this and they're saying, hey, we have a huge opportunity in front of us right now to tap into this new technology and this new system. And talking about that, they are not holding back. We have over here, Japan's SBI Holdings has launched a 10 billion yen, equivalent to $64.5 million, on-chain bond issuance that rewards investors with XRP. Big shout out to Bank XRP for this. Here's the breakdown. So SBI is launching its first series of security token ST bonds, SBI Start bonds for individual investors, with a total issue amount of JPY, Japanese yen, 10 billion. Bondholders will receive XRP rewards based on their subscription amount. Benefits are scheduled for interest payment dates in March of 2027, 2028, and 2029. These ST bonds will be issued and managed on the iBet for Fin blockchain. Bond register administrator is Muzao Bank. The subscription period is scheduled to run from March 11th to March 23rd, 2026. So this is definitely very, very interesting. And again, it goes to show you just how big XRP is in the Japanese market, with, of course, names like SBI. Now, when we also think about this, we also go over here to this quote from Smoke Dog, because this also confirms just how big this really is. We have just in Japan officially moves to implement XRP for real-world financial services. Through cooperation with SBI Ripple Asia, we will support the creation of practical use cases that utilize XRP Ledger and contribute to the financial and industrial fields, and aim to realize global financial use cases from Japan. Documented. And here we have in those documents, this is from February 20th of 2026, as a blockchain technology assuming the use of XRP Ledger hereinafter referred to as the XRPL, which is being implemented by financial institutions worldwide. We would like to inform you that we have concluded a basic agreement on a technical support partnership for the purpose of providing technical support for the implementation of financial services using technology. This initiative is to jointly develop a framework in which SBI Ripple Asia will support startups and businesses that aim to implement financial services in society using blockchain technology from a technical perspective. And this, of course, with Asia Web3 Alliance Japan, which got announced, I think it was like last March. But here we also have, through cooperation with SBI Ripple Asia, we will support the creation of practical use cases that utilize XRP Ledger and contribute to the financial and industrial fields, and aim to realize global financial use cases from Japan. This is, I mean, again, this is so massive for XRP because it feels as if we are finally taking over in a big area, and Japan is, definitely a key piece of this. Now, at the same exact time that all of this is happening, one quote that really stood out from this article is the fact that XRP is being implemented by financial institutions worldwide. We really didn't get a lot of big announcements or confirmations of, institutional players tapping into XRP worldwide, but we do know that there's definitely a lot of institutional players looking at XRP, watching this closely, and adopting it around specific use cases like stablecoin issuance or tokenization initiatives. But, again, starting this year with clarity and everything happening, I could foresee a future where some big institutional players come out and really announce their plans that they have been utilizing XRP, they've been testing with XRP, and they're now ready to go fully live with it. SBI is really already showing us their hand, here on what cards they're really holding. And guess what? They're holding XRP cards because they are all in on XRP. I really haven't seen SBI really double down, or in this case, it's not even doubling down. They have announced so many major initiatives with XRP over the years. It goes to show you just how big XRP is in some of these key areas. And in Japan, XRP has been a massive star for a very long time. And, SBI is an absolute giant too. So, again, we go back to that video clip that Crypto posted. When you have the finance minister of Japan voicing her support for, what SBI is doing with blockchain settlement and stablecoin initiatives, you can only really look at one thing, and that's, of course, XRP combined with ROUSD. This is an absolute game changer. It's huge, and I'm very, very happy about this. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.